Whoso committeth adultery, giving all praises to Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi, bahasham, racha, kodash. Double honor unto the elders and apostles of great millstone that rule well, and labour in the word and the doctrine. Shalom lebachea, peace unto the elect. The title is Whoso committeth adultery, and it's an excerpt taken from Proverbs, the 6th chapter, and verse 32, which reads, But whoso committeth adultery with a woman lacketh understanding. He that doeth it destroyeth his own soul. The definition of adultery. Now you have spiritual adultery, as in Israel, taking on another God, because the Lord Yahawah, who is the Heavenly Father, was likened unto our husband. Right, and adultery, the definition in a carnal sense, meaning not that it's not a spiritual covenant, and such being one flesh, but meaning in a fleshly term, is a woman sleeping with a man that is not her husband, or a man sleeping with another man's wife. Now, according to the scriptures, readings such as Deuteronomy, where it will tell you about if a man have two wives, one he hates and one he loves, dealing with an inheritance law. Exodus 21 and 10, I believe it's talking about a servant if he take himself another wife. Prophetic scriptures, Isaiah the 4th chapter and the 1st verse, in that day 7 women will take hold of one man. So we understand that there's also parables, such as Matthew the 25th chapter, that the kingdom of heaven is likened unto 10 virgins, and 5 were wise, 5 were foolish. And all these virgins, the 5 wise virgins, went in unto one husband. Right, so is that a wicked parable? The Christian church may say yes, so-called Christian, because they're not truly following Hamashiach, Yahawashi, as the scripture hath said. As it says in John 7:38, he that believeth on me, as the scriptures hath said, out of his belly shall flow rivers of living water. Now our broken system. It says Proverbs the 6th chapter, the 32nd verse, but whoso committeth adultery with a woman lacketh understanding. He that doeth it destroyeth his own soul. A wound and dishonour shall he get, and his reproach shall not be wiped away. For jealousy is the rage of a man, therefore he will not spare in the day of vengeance. So I've done on the KJVA app, is putting the word adultery. So we'll see the punishment, the judgment, according to the law on adultery. So you've got Exodus 20 and 14, and this is part of the 10 Commandments. But America, so-called, which is truly Babylon the Great, according to these scriptures, says, well, no, you can commit adultery. There's no penalty for it. You're able to do that. So it says, Exodus 20 and 14, thou shalt not commit adultery. And then you have the judgment thereof, Leviticus chapter 20, verse 10. And the man that committeth adultery with another man's wife, even he that committeth adultery with his neighbour's wife, the adulterer and the adulteress shall surely be put to death. So when you have that, it's going into a man laying with, or sleeping with, as we'd say in this modern time, another man's wife. So that therefore would be the definition of adultery. And again, you have certain laws. Deuteronomy, the 2nd law, Deutero, de, in French, I believe I'm not sure what it is in Latin, but I'm aware that the French word, if I am not mistaken, the French word de does come from the Latin. So you have Deutero, Deuteronomy, and nomos, like in John 10:34, it says, is it not written in your law, I have said ye are gods? And that's a reference to Psalm 82 and 6. And that is referring to, or the word law there, is it not written in your law, is referring to, or rather goes back to, the Greek word nomos. So Deuteronomy is the 2nd law, and the law was expounded upon. Then we have what we just read in Proverbs 6. And what I do want to get is Deuteronomy, like it said, the adulterer and the adulteress shall surely be put to death. Now if you have, let's find this, betrothed, When you look up the old, well, when you look up the word betrothed, which was used in the quote-unquote olden days, that's why I said old, Deuteronomy 22, and we can start at, right, no, no. We could go into that, but we won't for now. Right, Deuteronomy 22 and 23, which is the same law. If a damsel that is a virgin be betrothed unto an husband, so if she be promised unto a man, effectively the word today, in a similar sense, would be the word engaged. You have your engagement in this world, and then you have a wedding ceremony. So the engagement is being promised. And in the ancient world, it used to be, for example, if I had a daughter, she may be promised unto another Israelite's son, right? If they be of a certain age, and then later they would consummate that. Meaning to make that. Well, look up the word consummate. I'll give you some homework with it. Deuteronomy 22 and verse 23. If a damsel that is a virgin be betrothed unto an husband, and a man find her in the city, and lie with her, then ye shall bring them both out unto the gate of the city, of that city, and ye shall stone them with stones that they die. The damsel, because she cried not, being in the city, and the man, because he hath humbled his neighbour's wife, so that thou shalt put away evil from among you. So that the man, the damsel, because she cried not, in what she didn't scream out or shout out that another man was trying to take her. So the idea is that she went with it. She was consenting into sin, into adultery. And then it says the next, Deuteronomy 22 and 25. But if a man find a betrothed damsel in the field, and the man force her and lie with her, and lie with her, then the man only that lay with her shall die. But unto the damsel thou shalt do nothing. Well, I'll just go into that. So if a man finds a woman that's promised unto another man in the field, and the man forces her, so he uses force, quote unquote rapes, which means a seizure or a capture, and lie with her, then the man only that lay with her shall die. But unto the damsel thou shalt do nothing. There is in the damsel no sin worthy of death, for as a man riseth against his neighbour and slayeth him, even so is this matter. For he found her in the field, and the betrothed damsel cried, and there was none to save her. So it's as killing a man, basically, to do that. And that would be, it says, unto a damsel that be betrothed unto an husband. So that would be the sin of adultery, which is in the quote-unquote 10 Commandments. And now there's some about, well, we can start in the first verse for this. Jeremiah 3 and 1. They say if a man put away his wife, and she go from him, and become another man's, shall he return unto her again? Shall not that land be greatly polluted? But thou hast played the harlot with many lovers, yet return again to me, saith Yahawah. Alright, so if a man puts away, meaning to divorce, his wife, and she goes away from him, and another man, quote unquote, has sex with her, then is she not, quote unquote, polluted? And then the likeness is because Israel has committed many sins, many adulterous idolatries, right? And that would be a sin. So that's the likeness there, because Israel was surnamed by the Lord. When you have the idea of being surnamed, is having another man's name put upon you, and that's dealing with marriage. And according to these scriptures, sex is marriage. That's the consummation there. Wisdom of Solomon 14 and 12. For the devising of idols was the beginning of spiritual fornication, and the invention of them the corruption of life. So you've got a lot of these are talking about Israel going off, right, being metaphorically adulterous as well as literally. Jeremiah 3 and 8. And I saw, when for all the causes whereby backsliding Israel committed adultery, I had put her away and given her a bill of divorce, yet her treacherous sister Judah feared not, but went and played the harlot also. So in this context, Israel and Judah being contrasted Israel would be referring to the northern kingdom. Judah would be referring to the southern kingdom. Right, or Yasharala and Yahawah. And what I want to get is what Hamashiach said further about adultery in at least two cases I want to grab. Alright, Matthew chapter 5, verse 27. Ye have heard that it was said by them of old time, Thou shalt not commit adultery, but I say unto you, that whosoever looketh on a woman to lust after her, hath committed adultery with her already in his heart. Right, so even lusting after, meaning to look upon, would be committing adultery, because you have the intention to lay after your neighbor's wife or another man's wife. In Exodus 20 and 17, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife. Thou shalt not covet, Salaki. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's. So even to desire, so looking upon, could again lead to transgression, but it was a magnifying of the Torah, the law. Matthew 5 and 29. And if thy right eye offend thee, pluck it out and cast it from thee, for it is profitable for thee that one of thy members should perish, and not that thy whole body should be cast into hell. So don't literally do that, but it's a metaphor, or a parable. If there's something that's causing you to err, like it says in the Apocrypha paraphrasing, prove unto thine own soul what is evil for it, and give not thyself over to it, or give it not to yourself. It's more perishable, it's more profitable that just one part perish than the whole thing's off. Like you cut off what is causing you to stumble, rather than continuing in the stumble and adding sin unto sin, as the scriptures tell us not to. Matthew 5 and 30. And if thy right hand offend thee, cut it off and cast it from thee, for it is profitable for thee that one of thy members should perish, and not that thy whole body should be cast into hell. It hath been said, Whosoever shall put away his wife, let him give her a writing of divorcement. But I say unto you, that whosoever shall put away his wife, saving for the cause of fornication, causeth her to commit adultery, and whosoever shall marry her that is divorced committeth adultery. So, and I want to get it in Matthew 19. Right, tempting. Matthew 19 and 3. The Pharisees also came unto him, tempting him, and saying unto him, Is it lawful for a man to put away his wife for every cause? And he answered and said unto them, Have ye not read that he which made them at the beginning made them male and female, and said, For this cause shall a man leave father and mother, and shall cleave to his wife, and they twain shall be one flesh. Wherefore they are no more twain, but one flesh. What therefore power hath joined together, let no man put asunder. And they said unto him, Why did Moses then command to give a writing of divorcement, and to put her away? And you can read about that in the law. If you search divorce, you could just search up the word divorce in the same app, or a similar app like Blue Letter Bible, or Bible Hub. Search up divorce, and it'll tell you about this. It says Matthew 19 and 8. He saith unto them, Moses, because of the hardness of your hearts, suffered you to put away your wives, but from the beginning it was not so. And I say unto you, whosoever shall put away his wife, except it be for fornication, and shall marry another, committeth adultery, and whoso marrieth her, which is put away, doth commit adultery. So that would be the magnification of the Torah, of the law. We're not saved by the law. You can't commit adultery. Right, like Yahawashi said, go and sin no more. It's not easy not to be an Salaki. It's not hard to not be an adulterer. Right? It's not easy to complete the whole of the law. But that doesn't mean that's not an excuse to not do the things you can do. Right, so I pray that was edifying. On to the next one. Oh, Lord willing, all praises to Yahawah, bahasham Yahawashi, bahasham Kodash.